1978, the godfather of all slashers released and started a new peak for slashers, lasting all the way up to damn near the 2000s. That movie, of course, being John Carpenter's classic, Halloween. The reason Halloween is considered the godfather of slashers is because it invoked a new creativity for the slasher genre, allowing inspiration for many to make their own and try to give their own takes on it. While some being good and some being really bad, Halloween still has the most important legacy of all time. Now, for why Halloween was so greatly received is probably for four great reasons. Number one, the atmosphere. Number two, the movie was made perfectly on a really low budget. The music, and finally Michael Myers as the iconic shape, the villain himself. For the purposes of this review, I will be analyzing all four of these elements and the history of how Halloween was made and the production. So without further ado, let's begin. The filming for Halloween began in May 1978, and the movie was filmed in an entire 22 days. Production was cheap and the cast members had to wear their own normal clothes. The original story for the film was going to take place over a few days, but due to them having to probably have to change costumes for different days, the movie was compacted into one night. The movie was filmed in Southern California, opposed to an actual small town in Illinois, due to it most likely being cheaper. The only problem they had with this filming location was the fact that it was May and also in Southern California, where it doesn't exactly look like fall time, which is when the movie is meant to take place during May. So they had to use techniques like dead leaves, scattering them, to give off the illusion that the movie was really taking place during Halloween night. And for the most part, this filming location does work, except for a few shots where you can see palm trees in the background and sunny sky. Even with the simple errors of the movie, when you look at the final product, it is truly impressive to see what this team did with the little they had during production. The team at first were making just a really small, low-budget film, and it ended up becoming a cult classic. No, not even a cult classic, a classic instantly. This movie has the staying power. I don't know how to describe it. It's indescribable. The staying power that no movie has ever had before. Even the script was only written in 10 days, and when watching the movie, the script and the screenplay work so well. Now, I could go on for hours about the production, but that should be an entire video on its own. This video is meant more as an analysis of the movie itself and the story and the atmosphere rather than the production story. So I believe now would be the best time to move on to the meat and potatoes of this video. The meat and potatoes I mentioned earlier in this video being the atmosphere and the story and how they complement each other perfectly. The first instance of the atmosphere complementing the stories in the very beginning, starting at the outside view of the Myers house. The first scene of the movie is Michael Myers' point of view stalking his sister and her boyfriend, which, by the way, the funniest part about this whole scene, probably the only funny thing in this movie, is the fact that Judith's boyfriend is only up there for about a minute and he's putting his shirt back on. Like, did he get rejected in that time, or is he just the biggest pump and dump of the century? Well, now back on topic, but finally, we see Michael Myers walk into his sister's bedroom with the knife in hand and murder her. The atmosphere is done perfectly through the cinematography, through the dreamy feel of the entire area. The way atmosphere plays into this scene is the factors how eerie it truly is seeing from Michael Myers' perspective and how emotionless he is about it. Seems almost easy for Michael. It seems like he's done this before and he's even almost planned it, it feels like. But the other way atmosphere plays into this is the atmosphere of it being like a dream. It feels like it's not real. The entire movie, I've noticed, is shot with this feeling that we're watching something come from a dream. Feels like Michael's in his own world the entire movie, even from the perspective of Laurie Strode. It almost mixes the feel of a nightmare and a dream, that being a dream for Michael and a nightmare for Laurie. From my point of view, I see the music encapsulating a perfect view of a nightmare, and the cinematography a dream for Michael. It seems like he's weary and whimsical during all of this, while Laurie is just exaggerating and terrified. The next example I have to showcase the atmosphere is the opening credits of the movie. The pumpkin, the reflection of Michael Myers within it, and the music within the scene. Many have viewed the pumpkin in different ways, like it showing Michael killing somebody or just it showcasing what's to happen in the movie. But the way I always saw it is the fire within the eyes. Yes, Michael's in the pumpkin, but the fire in it represents something deeper, a rage that is unfulfilled, a rage that has been lurking for years. How that rage is able to be fulfilled in one horrific night, that being Halloween. Another thing that contributes to the opening scene and its atmosphere is the music that plays during it, the iconic Halloween theme. The Halloween theme song perfectly describes the movie itself, simple yet eerie. Use of the theme song in this opening makes it so much better. It makes the entire thing eerie and gives it a suspenseful vibe while the message of the intro is invoked. The I presented before of the pumpkin is now underlined by the theme. The music in Halloween is also a big reason to why it's as esteemed to its levels as high as it is today. In fact, the music makes the experience of the movie night and day. John Carpenter originally showed this movie to a friend with no music before he even thought of making a score for the movie, and she said the movie was not scary and boring. Once he made the score for the movie and showed it to her again, she said it was incredibly eerie and scary, and was like night and day. And when watching the movie, it's not hard to see why. The music perfectly elevates every bit of horror in this movie. And when I think about this movie, it's really impossible to think about it without the music. Example here about the music, I'm going to go back to the opening scene here. That scene would not have been nearly as effective without the music. Not a single scene where Michael shows up would have been nearly as effective without the music. Yes, the cinematography does play a big part of the atmosphere in this movie. Without the music, the cinematography is just that, moving pictures. Now, I'm not saying that cinematography can't create a great atmosphere, but what I'm trying to say is that the two things in this movie coincide together to make the best atmosphere out of any horror movie ever. I would even go as far to say, without the music, Michael wouldn't be scary. For a moment, think about the scene where Michael breaks out of Smith's Grove and smashes through the car window. The second Michael grabs Loomis's assistant through the car window and starts choking her, the beat drop of the theme song starts. The weight emphasizes the danger she's in through Michael's presence. Music presents Michael as pure evil and dangerous whenever he's on screen, truly making him a monster. Another scene where the music truly does make it is the scene where Laurie first sees Michael hiding behind the bush, stalking her. The way the keyboard plays the second he zips away encapsulates the feeling of Michael and human monster. Or even like when Michael's stalking Tommy Doyle at his school. While I've been talking about atmosphere and music this entire video, I've been using it to lead up to the true topic of this video, describing Michael Myers himself. The music and atmosphere in this movie aren't just to scare the viewer, it's also to show Michael for what he is. It represents that he's nothing but an inhuman monster, something beyond words. Michael Myers is inexplicably evil. He's not your run-of-the-mill serial killer that many people make him out to be. He's the boogeyman, the shape, pure evil. Dr. Loomis actually has a quote that perfectly supports this evidence. When he talks about Michael, he says there was nothing left, no reason, no conscience, no understanding even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. To be pure evil, you can't have even the slightest idea of being good or being happy, remorse, or empathy. Everything in this movie was used to support Michael's evilness, even his mask. His mask has not even the resemblance of emotion on it. It truly shows that what he's thinking is up to the interpretation of the viewer. Watching Halloween for the first time, you can't pinpoint what emotion Michael is feeling because of the mask. This is supported by Laurie Strode's confusion whenever Michael's watching her. She doesn't know the rhyme or reason or why he's doing it. She just notices a dude watching her, and it's terrifying. While yes, it's scary to have somebody watching you, she doesn't know why he's doing it because he has no emotion. There's nothing to evoke human. The fact that Laurie Strode has no idea who Michael Myers is or why he's doing what he's doing is kind of the reason she's afraid of him. She just sees him as a boogeyman. And like most do, they just brush the boogeyman off as being a myth. But in Laurie Strode's case, the boogeyman is as real as ever. The way Laurie Strode views Michael Myers to showcase how evil he truly is relates back to him because we, the audience, don't even know why he's doing what he's doing. It's hinted at throughout the movie that Michael is just doing this just to do it. No motive behind it. And while yes, the sequels do try to give Michael a motive, that kind of makes him not nearly as scary as he is in this movie. Further sequels trying to humanize Michael is, in my opinion, the reason most of these sequels fail where this movie succeeds. Everything in this movie works because Michael is just pure evil. Giving him a motive takes away the fear factor of him, taking away the idea of a boogeyman, taking away the idea of somebody being soulless. So, trying to humanize Michael completely destroys what John Carpenter was trying to do while writing the script of this movie. The only time Michael is ever mentioned by name is when he's revealed to be a little kid in the opening and at the end where his mask is taken off. Throughout the entire script, Michael is referred to as the Shape. Nothing more, nothing less. All he is the Shape. John Carpenter literally wrote the script in mind with Michael not being human. John Carpenter wanted to dehumanize Michael Myers as much as he could during the writing process of this movie. Laurie's perspective on Michael and Michael's philosophy is perfectly encapsulated in the third act. Third act, I believe, is what this movie is building up to the entire time to truly create the vibe of this movie. Many even remember Halloween just for the third act itself. The third act perfectly encapsulates everything about the movie because it uses everything I've already talked about in this review and sets up a great cat and mouse game against Laurie and Michael. The third act begins when Laurie Strode finds the body of all her friends that had previously gone missing earlier due to Michael. She finds Annie's body laid out on the bed in front of Judith Myers' tombstone, kind of like a horrific shrine for her. And while Laurie's in shock during the scene, we see Michael creep out of the shadows and begin attacking her immediately. And after Laurie narrowly escapes Michael, she gets back to the Doyle house and gets Tommy and Lindsay to escape. And while she's hiding there, Michael shows up and she stabs him with a knitting needle. For a moment, she thinks she's safe, but then Michael rises again. After he rises again, she runs to the closet and hides. He finds her, and then she uses a clothing hanger to stab him in the eye. And in her moment of shock, he rises again. He begins attacking once more, but Loomis shows up just in time to save her. Before Loomis actually begins shooting Michael, we see that Laurie had knocked off his mask, and for a moment, that stuns him. He's purely shocked that his mask was removed. He feels helpless. While Michael's stunned with his mask off, Loomis takes the opportunity to start shooting Michael. Michael tanks 6 shots and falls off the balcony. And while Laurie asks Loomis, "Was that the boogeyman?" and Loomis responds, "In fact it was," he goes over to the balcony to see Michael's body gone. Shape has risen once again. Halloween was great due to the atmosphere, music, being made on a low budget, and Michael Myers himself. And even if any of those core 4 things were missing, this movie would not have been the same. Halloween was important to the slasher genre because it showed what you could do with even a low budget. The biggest classic in this genre was made on a low budget, and that truly inspired people. And as I said earlier, some of the imitations of this movie were both really good and really bad, but I hope someday we can get to a slasher peak like we did back in the 70s and 80s. Slasher movies in that era were made with true heart and inspiration, and I hope we will begin to start seeing more movies like that again. We've already seen some like Terrifier that have true heart from the creators, and I'm hoping it continues that way. Even if the slasher genre doesn't, peak again, all I know is that Michael Myers will still be present because the Shape never dies.